the extent that you are not aware of what is going on around you, and then that nullifies your wudu. And some of the scholars said there's a difference between a long sleep, which is which is not heavy. It's a light sleep. You are lying down for 3 hours, but you're not really asleep. It just comes and then it goes. You are aware of your surroundings, what's going on. There's no problem with that. But if it is a short one that is so heavy that you don't even know what's going on, or when you sleep 3-4 hours and you don't even know what's going on, as for that one, you need to perform wudu. And then the next one is wal igma. Al igma means unconsciousness. So someone faints or someone is in coma. The moment the person is unconscious, so maybe anesthesia for the person, that is also what it invalidates your wudu. Was sukr, intoxication. Intoxication, it nullifies your wudu. So someone might say intoxication, but we Muslims, we don't drink alcohol. Sometimes, I don't know, where did I go? Yes, last week, Saturday, I went to Kensington. We went to give water to them, and I was intoxicated. I could feel my head turn around because of the smell. So when I came back, I had to perform wudu. So you might come across, some smell, some act. I remember some time ago, I went to have a haircut, and some guys were smoking by the entrance of, the barber shop. I didn't know. I just saw a barber shop. I said, let me park, let me get a haircut. My hair is itching me. And then I entered, and these guys will come and leave and come and leave and come and leave and come and leave. And within 20 minutes, I started seeing stars. I was like, no. This place is not for me. Let me leave. The guy said, I have 2 more people. I said, no problem. I need to rush to do something. So you later. I ran away. So coming into close proximity with some of these things can cause intoxication. That is why that even is more dangerous than smoking it itself. You inhaling it is more dangerous than the person doing it, because when the person smokes and then blows out, you are receiving his disease that is already in him, and then also the smoke of the tin itself. So that is, I don't know, they call it secondary smoking, where is more dangerous. So may the Almighty Allah safeguard us from family members or close people who are into it, because it's not easy. So we have a sukr, which is what? Intoxication. Wal junun, which is insanity. Insanity. May the Almighty Allah safeguard us from it. It's a test, it is a trial. And sometimes some of us...
So let's say if I have neighbor who smoke.
Mm-hmm. No. It's not every time. If you get to a level whereby you yourself can feel that no, you are not yourself. You feel dizzy.
Me, I don't feel dizzy, but it makes me like.
Of course, it's going to affect you're going to get cold, of course. But then for it to nullify your wudu, you should get to a point whereby you feel dizzy. You must just, have to grab something to get your balance. Then it is intoxicating. You must, renew your wudu. But if just passing by it, of course, because of the smell, it's very dangerous. And for me personally, I have this, allergy with smells. So even perfume and cologne is not everyone that I use. If it's very strong, no, you start seeing my nose start running right now. So I'm very, very particular about smell and stuff like that. So it's dangerous. It's dangerous. And if I don't come close, I won't come close to you. You're smoking? No, I'm not coming close to you, because you're going to give me problems. You're going to give me problems. And so we have wal junun, which is what? Which is insanity. The next statement is very controversial, which is wal qublatu, kissing. It's very controversial. Does kissing nullify wudu? Because Aisha tells us that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will perform wudu, kiss her, and then he will go to the masjid, and then he will pray. He won't renew his wudu. But then there's a caveat here. The scholars put it there as a deterrent. Because maybe in the process of kissing, it might end up. So they put that as a deterrent. Or if you are someone who can't control himself or herself, when you kiss your spouse, it will arouse you to end up, then it is what? It is not advisable. But kissing in itself doesn't nullify wudu, even though it is stated in this what? In this text. Even though it is stated in this text. Because Aisha makes it clear that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will perform wudu, kiss her, and then he will go and pray. And then it doesn't. And some of the scholars are saying that is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He can control himself. What about us? No. Yes, that's him. But there are people, who can control himself. Sometimes the kissing might not necessarily mean something that will lead to intimacy. It might be just a greeting, a peck on the cheek. Even if it is a lip to a lip kiss, just he's going to the masjid, he kisses his wife, and then he goes. There's nothing wrong with that. And then the other caveat is that if the kissing will arouse the man for him to release madhiyu that we spoke about, and madhiyu technically invalidates your wudu. So with the kissing, it's a little bit, problematic. It's not, straight jacket. And the next one, he says, walamsul mar'a, touching a woman or touching a man. This also is in categories. So if I touch you with the intent of getting some, pleasure, it nullifies my wudu, even if I don't get the pleasure. So if you touch a man who is not your husband with the intent of getting pleasure, even if you don't get the pleasure, attempting to kill in this one is killing. So your wudu is what? Is nullified. Even if you don't get the feeling. But so long as you have it at the back of your mind that this is what I want to do, your wudu is what? Is nullified. Even if he's your husband and then you touch him in a way to get some respite, to get some feeling, some sexual feeling, excuse my language, then even if you don't get it, maybe he's in a hurry to go to the masjid or he's going somewhere and then you want to hold him to get some feeling, husband and wife feeling, and then you hold him but you don't get it, and then he says, I'm in a hurry, I'm going. Your wudu is nullified because of the intention with which you did it. That's the first category. The second category is you touch him without the intention of what? Enjoying it. And then maybe you are giving him, a plate, you're giving him something, and then your hands touch each other, and then you have the feeling your wudu is nullified. Let's get the difference between the first and then the second one. The first one is that you touch without you touch with the intention of what? Of getting the feeling, and then you don't get it. Where it dodges you. Your wudu is what? Is nullified. The wudu is invalidated. Let's say you have wudu, and then you see your husband, and then you have this feeling. You want to hold him so that you get some feeling from your husband, and then you hold him, but then you don't get the feeling. The wudu is nullified because of the intention. That's one. Number two, you don't have the intention. You just want to hug him, he's leaving, and then you hug him and then you feel it, then the wudu is also what? Is nullified. So that's the second. The third one is that you don't have any intention of touching. And then he just brushes you or you brushes him and then you have the feeling, the wudu is what? Is nullified. And then finally, you touch without the intention of getting any feeling, and then you don't get any feeling, the wudu is what? Remains valid. So in the first three instances, you touch with the intention of getting a feeling, and then you don't get the feeling, wudu is nullified. The second one, you touch without the intention of feeling, but you get the feeling, the wudu is nullified. The third one, there is no even intent of touching. You don't have it at the back of your mind, and then the feeling comes in through brushing or through touching, the wudu is what? Is nullified. And finally, you touch without the intention, and then you still don't get it, the wudu is not what? Is not nullified. Now.
Mm-hmm. I heard that you cannot touch someone who
No. No.
So my cousins, like, I knew them before.
No. No.
And after.
No.
But it's been years.
No.
They're married and
No.
stuff. And we always,
No. You meet and
yeah, like hug because we come
no. No.
from the beach.
No.
And like hugging or something.
No.
Sometimes I'm stuck, like I don't know what to
No.
do. They just hug me and I'm like,
No.
I don't know.
No.
You know, because it's like so
Yes.
normal.
Yes.
And I don't know. So I wanted to know because I only do it with like relatives,
No.
but the only relatives through my cousin.
Yes. The relationship between men and women in Islam is very, very clear. Anybody that the potential of marriage is between the two of you, touching and hugging is not allowed. If the person can marry you, meaning the person is not your brother, it's not your father, it's not your uncle, it's not your son. You see, these four people, they are the ones that you can have, some, body-to-body contact, because there can never be any intention of what? Even direct cousins are out, because in Islam, you can get married to your direct cousins.
What in Islam, but they're not.
Not these days.
No, even if they are not Muslims.
So how do I tell them?
No, it's already in their mind, but then it is a gradual process. And then you do it in a way that is not going to be offensive. People say, I'm a Muslim, I need to make it clear to them. Yes, you need to make it clear to them in a way that is going to be educative and not offensive. Muslims, let's be very, very careful the way we market our religion. Know what's wrong with them. Okay. So let's be circumspect and very, very wise in the way we deal with people who are not Muslims, who are our family relations. Because as Muslims, we have a whole different culture from people who are not Muslims. For French people, kissing is a way of greeting. But for us in Islam, no. I can't just meet you and then start kissing you because I'm from France. No. Or because I speak French. No. And Arabs too, you see. But then for us in Islam, no. There is a red line that we don't cross. So, for example, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said something. He said, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالدُّخُولَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. Be very mindful the way you enter upon women. You see, this is a masjid. But when I was coming, I said salam and I sought permission from you guys, because this is women only space. And you might be having your own time here. I can't just barge in and say, because I'm the imam and then this is the masjid, I can just come in. No. So the Prophet ﷺ said, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالدُّخُولَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. Be very careful the way you enter into women's spaces. And then one of the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, ara'ayta al-hamu, Ya Rasulullah, what do you think about, the husband's brother, the husband's cousin, the husband's friend, the husband's, so and so, coming in. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, you see those people, they are like death itself. Because he is your husband's brother, people do not think that anything can happen between the two of you. And these are the worst form of things that do happen. So you see, Islam, to protect, the dignity and then the sanctity of a woman in this, Islam says, I can marry you, no touching. That's it. No touching. Because you know very well we've got to a time whereby men use that to abuse women. He's hugging you as if it is friendly, but it's not a friendly hug. And let me tell you this, I'm very, very excused. Sorry, our mothers are here. Between a man and a woman, there's nothing like Iman. It doesn't work there. Between a man and a woman, there's nothing like Iman. That is why the Almighty Allah said, Wala taqrabu. The Almighty Allah never said, do not commit zina. It's not there in the Quran. He says, don't go near it. So any action that will lead to it is haram. So touching, holding, seclusion, Oh, he's my cousin, he's my father's grandfather's younger sister's brother's uncle cousin. It doesn't work in Islam. But then, for some of us who have family members who are not Muslims, who do not understand this code of ethics that we have as Muslims, it's very difficult. So one, you try in a way to let them understand. Rome was not built in a day, as they say. But then you try as much as possible. Oh, I will want to hug you, you're my cousin, but the religion says otherwise. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, it is better for a man to have a nail driven into his head than for him to touch a woman who he is not allowed to touch her. So it's quite difficult. That you have cousins who are not Muslims, you have people who are not Muslims. Hey, how are you? They want to hug you. But the moment you start gradually, they hug you, you pull them aside, I'm a Muslim and Islam doesn't allow this and stuff like that. Little by little, you get to a place whereby they will all know, they will all understand. I remember I go to television stations for interviews, sometimes morning shows, the hostess is in her wig, she has a whole long nails as if she's a new witch and all those stuff, and then she wants to greet you and you are in mix. What do you do? If you don't shake her, it becomes a problem, and stuff like that. So from the beginning, you extend your hand, I shake you. After I shake you, I put you aside and say, don't do this again, because you put us Muslim men in an awkward position. You send your hand publicly. If I don't take your hand, it is seen as disrespect. But then for us Muslim men, we are not allowed to touch any woman who is not our mother, who is not our sister, who is not our wife, who is not our daughter. So they understand. He said, but we have Muslim men here who will hug you. I said, yes. When they hug you, how do they hug you? They hug you very tight. Is that normal in hugging you tight? They said, no. I said, they are taking advantage of you. So after some time, when I'm invited back, they know that no, as for this, we don't shake his hand. So it's gradual. It's gradual. You cannot get it in one day. And then you need to make it known. If you keep quiet, they don't know. They'll meet you and they still want to hug you. But then, if they hug you, you pull him aside. Oh, this is what Islam says. So that the person doesn't feel embarrassed in public. Sometimes we correct people in a way that is wrong. You correct people in a way that is wrong. Sometimes you see something going on with a sister or with a brother. It is wrong in public. Hold your brakes. Hold the brakes. You are not Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hold your brakes. And later, so and so. You see, when you did this and that, that is not allowed in Islam. Between you and them, they will respect you more. And anytime you say something, they will listen. But then in front of people, they do something. Hey, you've lost them forever. You will never get them. So it's very challenging. And sometimes in this part of the world that we live in, this Western world, sometimes you go to workplaces and then these men want to hug you, especially they know Muslim women are different. They know. Muslim women take care of themselves. Muslim women are beautiful. Muslim women are neat. And the Muslim men, they know it. So you come to the workplace, hey, Mariamatu, he wants to hug you. No. So put that distinction in there. And someone will say, but Sheikh, it's not that I'm going to feel anything. No, it's not about the feeling of anything. It's about the legislation that the Almighty Allah has put in place, which is very, very important for us as Muslims. And then also safeguarding you as a woman. Because, we live in a world whereby, excuse me, with all due respect, the woman has been commercialized. Boxing, round one, a woman in bikini comes and then she holds a placard. What's the relationship between the punching of the faces and then the woman in a bikini holding what? Holding a placard. What's the relationship? The woman has just been commercialized. They are advertising for a new car, Lamborghini. A woman is in bikini sitting on top of the Lamborghini. What's the relationship between a naked woman and a Lamborghini? So women has been turned into something else, and they feel that is empowerment. And the woman has been told that is empowerment, that is her strength, that is who she is. And the moment they say no, cover up, they say no, you are hiding something beautiful. You need to show it to the world. You need to show God your. No. I say this: if exposing yourself is civilization, then dogs are more civilized than us. Because dogs do not want, they are always naked. So I know it's a very challenging part, but then, yes.
To understand, I think I'll start bringing gifts so that when they come in the hug me.
But
Because I think, like I'm the type of person, it's so hard for me to tell someone like, hey, it's so hard.
no, it's true. No, we are all different. We
Because to
all
always be nice to me, like,
yes, you're all different, and it's quite challenging. That there are some people. It would take time. It would take time. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't change the Sahaba in one day. No, it took time. And sometimes some of the verses come, in bits and pieces, to prep the people, to conscientize them. For example, the banning of alcohol it's not just one verse. It went through stages, preparing the Sahaba to the level where they themselves realized that, nah, let's stop this. So it's like that. It's like that. But then always have it at the back of your mind that this thing is wrong. Is wrong. Because if you don't have it at the back of your mind that it is wrong, it becomes normal. You normalize it. And then you don't feel anything wrong with it. And then it becomes okay. It tends to become the norm now. And when someone says this is wrong, you're like, no. As how they're doing with us now, with all this gender identity and ideology and stuff, it used to be abhorrent. And then they were just feeding it little by little. Now it's got to a point whereby, no, people say it's normal. The moment you say it's wrong, they say, no, you have a phobia. So it's gradual. It's gradual. And they are not looking at us. They know me and you, they won't get us. They're looking at these ones. That is why they are putting it in the textbooks now. 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds who do not even know what shoe is the right shoe and which shoe is the left shoe. They don't know that. He's going to wear his shoe. This boy is going to wear his shoe. If you leave him alone, he'll put his right leg in the left shoe. You put his left leg in the right shoe. But they are telling him that now he can think that he's not a boy. We now got to a place whereby some people feel they are dogs and cats. They want to dress like dogs and cats. So it's gradual. If you do not stem the tide in your house, it's going to be very, very, difficult. The next one is also very sensitive. They say wamasu zakar, which is what? Touching the private part. For women, touching the private part does not nullify the wudu, except when you touch it to have some feeling. But you use, for example, maybe, you dress up and then you're a little bit stuffy and then you want to go to the washroom to just, straighten your clothes up, dress well. And then in the way of dressing yourself out well, you touch yourself. There's nothing wrong with that because that was not the intention. For the male, there are some issues here that if he touches with the inside of the palm, which is more sensitive than the behind the palm, then it nullifies the wudu. Because inside the palm is more sensitive than what? Behind the palm. And inside the palm gives it the opportunity to have some feeling. But behind the palm doesn't have that. So for example, a man is stuffy, he wants to scratch himself. He wants to, scratch, and then he puts his hand and then he scratches with the back of his palm, back of his hand. He doesn't nullify his wudu. But then the Hanafi people say, even if he touches us with the palm, the wudu is still valid. Because they say it's not every day you go around touching yourself. No. There's a need for it. That is why it happens. So that is what? Touching yourself. So let's go back to revise what we said today. We said there are two ways that your wudu can be nullified. We have ahdath. These are what? Direct nullifiers. Things that happen to us. And then we said what? Urine, defecating, passing wind, and then for specific to men, al-madhyu, that it is a fluid that comes out when the man is aroused. He might not even necessarily know that it is out. And then it is light, it is sticky like okra, but it's not thick. And then we have madhyu, wadu, and wadu.
It's not, he doesn't know if it come out.
Mhm.
How is that?
When he's aroused, he's aroused. When the man is aroused, he knows he's aroused. But then, if he goes into the washroom and then he sees signs of it in his underwears, then it means that the wudu is what? Is nullified.
I have it says you guys for women
Mm-hmm.
during the time of the month.
No.
Day for the white days, right?
Yes.
So does that nullify us? Like, is that something that we have to know if
You see, every woman, we did this class, and inshallah, we'll be treating this too. Inshallah, maybe 2 more classes from now, we'll look at, issues concerning, menstrual cycle and stuff like that. We looked at this some couple of months ago, that for every woman, it differs from a woman to a woman. Some women will feel dryness. It's a sign of what? The end of the month. Some women will see, it changes to some brownish, yellowish color is the end. Some is whitish. So depending on you as an individual, so you need to keep the data to see that, okay, consistently, when I see this is a sign that, this is the consistent sign I've seen to mean that this is the end of the month for me. Because we have billions of women in the world, and each one is what? Is unique, and it's different. It's also on the day. Some women have 4 days, some women have 5 days, some women have 6 days. So you realize that the scholars, the Jewish scholars, Muslims, always differed on these things. And then at the end of the day, sometimes Imam Malik, they ask him these questions. Sometimes he say 4 days, sometimes you say 5 days, sometimes you say, go and ask the woman, leave me alone. Because it is what? It is women specific. So for example, in postpartum bleeding, they say 15 days, some say 20 days, some say 40 days, some say 60 days. At the end of the day, in the books, they tell you because it differs from one woman to the other woman. So as a woman, you have to look at, your own data consistently, that this is what I see, this is what I see, this is what I see. And that's what I always advise, revet, Muslim women, in that try and look at your data and see, okay, first month I had 4, 5 days, 6 days, and in the last couple of days, this is what I saw. Put it down. Because it helps you to track whether you are, because it's in line with your ibadah. Because if the visitor comes in, you don't pray, you don't fast. And when the visitor leaves, you what? You pray and then you fast. So you need to know when the visitor leaves so that you'll be able to what? To pray. Because for example, if right now, if Maghrib is past, we've done with Maghrib, and then you realize that your visitor is gone. When you bath, you pray Maghrib and Isha. I hope you get it. Let's say, for example, your visitor comes right before Fajr. Hey, your visitor leaves right before Fajr. You're done with the monthly cycle. You have to make up Maghrib and Isha and then Fajr. Yes. A lot of women do not know this. Fajr comes in around 4 a.m. Right? Fajr comes around 4 a.m. And then 3:55, you realize that your visitor is gone. Your visitor has left. You are now back to perform your ghusl. Yes. So Maghrib is still in. Maghrib is not gone. And Isha is not gone. You still have to what? You still have to make it. And then for example, you have not prayed Zuhur and Asr. Or you've prayed Zuhur. And then you've not prayed Asr, and then your visitor comes in. Okay, fine. After you finish, you'll have to make up that Asr of that day that you didn't pray. Because Asr time was still in, and then you didn't pray Asr until the visitor sets in.
So I have an issue. I pray, because I think this happens to most people. Sometimes you're too busy, you don't realize.
No.
Most of the time, I pray. And then after I pray, I'm like, oh my goodness, I prayed when it's
Not time.
supposed to be to pray. Does that, I have to make it up, or?
I don't get it when you say you are not supposed to pray.
So like, you're praying, but you don't realize it's that time.
Okay, you don't realize that it's your visitor has set in. Okay. Okay. Okay.
You made wudu before you even went to pray, but it was good. And after you pray, you want to go to the
You realize that. So now what you need to do is you need to if you're able to get the exact time that it happened, that if you have already prayed that salah, then that salah is already done. You don't have any business with that salah. So when you come back, you don't have to make up that salah because you've already made it. But then if you perform the wudu and then you want to check yourself in the washroom and then your visitor sets in, it is time for salah. No. After you finish, you'd have to make up that salah. because it was time for that salah. So I think we have some few more lines, but then I'll open it. So if you have your questions, you can answer, you can ask your questions. So we have sleep. We said there are some sleep is short but it's very heavy. It nullifies your wudu. Or generally, if you sleep and then you're not aware of your surroundings, it nullifies your wudu. But then, short sleep, which, you are aware of your surroundings, there's nothing wrong with that. Or you are sitting on a chair and then you doze off. It doesn't nullify your wudu. Or you sleep even though you snore, but then you are aware of your surroundings, it doesn't nullify your wudu. If the sleeping that nullifies the wudu is the one that you sleep and then you are not aware of your surroundings. Some people can sleep and then they can even be stolen. They themselves, someone can carry them and take them away. Allahu A'lam. And then we have igma, which is what? Unconsciousness. So maybe someone is unconscious, anesthesia and stuff like that. Coma, it nullifies your wudu. Sukr, we say intoxication. So it might not necessarily mean that you went to drink, but then you pass by people who are smoking, as it happened to me last week and then some time ago, and I got intoxicated and I started seeing things even though I didn't take it myself.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.